Let's see, we got paper. Do we have more paper? We're probably going to go through. But well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Mike Sedino uses a lot of paper, you know. So, how many in here draw?
Of course.
That's really cool. I was with a group the other day. They were all college students, not for an art school, and I said, so how many in here draw? Not one hand went up. Just not one hand. Well, I guess I'm used to talking to crowds like this. And I said, well, how many in here drew when they were kids? All the hands went up. So
It's okay if I move up?
Somewhere between then and now, you stop. But I mean, drawing to me, I mean, it's like breathing. I can't imagine not doing it. It's something that I love. Animation for me, it's really a way for me to kind of live in the paper. It's like a magic mirror, I guess. I feel like I can step in and be whatever it is that I want to be. So I thought what I would do is do a little animation. Instead of just doing a drawing of different characters, I could just draw characters, but here, I'll just, let me see. Where are you guys seeing it? Oh, you're working on the camera. Oh, okay. Oh, then I'll just talk. Okay. So ever since I can remember when I was a little kid, I would draw. But the thing is, I wouldn't draw to do a drawing. All my drawings were a way of me living in whatever it is that I was doing a drawing of. I would draw dinosaurs. I would draw some battle scene, and they were more like, the paper was more like a time machine that you could step into and live in that world. And eventually, all my drawings were always scribbled over because there'd be so many sound effects and bullets firing and dinosaurs chasing somebody, and it was all just sound effects. That's because it was all happening in my head, and I think that's what drawing still is for me. It's a chance to live in the skin of whatever character it is that I'm animating. My dad, cartoonist, he drew Family Circus, and ever since I was little, Dad was always encouraging me to think of myself as an artist. When he was young, he was an editor of his school magazine, newspaper, the art director of it, I guess. And he would always say, well, I'm not an artist, I'm a cartoonist. And when I grew up, though, he would look at me and he said, Glenn, you're an artist. And you go ahead and take a look at this book. And he'd give me a book on Bert Hogarth's Dynamic Anatomy. He said, study that. Look at the way the muscles are working. And, so I would do drawings of the figure, and I remember getting on the school bus to school when I was in third grade, and I had done these nudes. The other kids came up and they were looking at this drawing I had done of the thinker, and they started laughing. Hey, he's drawing naked guys. I realized, okay, well, I guess I'm a little different than anybody else in school. And as I got into animation, I realized that if you really think of yourself as an artist, you're a little different too. Because in animation, it's almost like, I think a lot of us forget that this is our moment in time to be an artist. This is what we're born to be. This is our art form, animation. So that's, anytime I sit down to draw, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so are we on now? All right, so let me just show you a way that I would think about animating. Let's say I'll just do Tarzan here, and Tarzan is, let's say he's crouched down on the ground here, and he's looking up at something, and he's gonna. Ultimately, I want him to jump, right? Can you see that? It's pretty small. It's hard to see, isn't it? Okay. I'll try and draw a little bit blacker. Can we zoom in on that? No? Okay. All right. Well, one of the things, the first thing that I think about as I'm sketching this out is three things: tilt, rhythm, and twist. These are things that are just like as natural as breathing. In drawing Tarzan, like I'm thinking of him, he's looking up, right? And he's gonna go up there somewhere. But immediately I throw his head is facing this direction. His torso is facing this direction, and his hips are facing this direction. And what that is twist. So his whole body is twisting like that. I mean, that's really what I learned from Freddie Moore. You know, if he was doing one of a Freddie Moore girl, I guess you could say, he would always be having this rhythm, tilt, rhythm, and twist. Now the tilt might happen if the shoulders are going this way, maybe the tilt of the head goes opposite of that. So all of that is happening all the time. Even if you're doing aerial, she didn't have any legs, but you can still be looking for that same tilt, rhythm, and twist. When I'm animating, I just throw the eyes in with just like a little slash there, because I can always just do a direction. You know, it's amazing how just by drawing a slash there, the eye's looking that way, up here it's looking there. If you draw it more round, it's looking out at you, just in very quick little motions. And I keep my pencil with a nice chisel point, so it's got a flat edge to it. So I can always turn it, and I can use the fat side of it, or I can use the sharp edge to do something a little more delicate. I've been accused of being a pretty sloppy animator, just messy, but it's more just like because I just don't want to take the time to slow down. I'm trying to really capture a feeling that's inside of me. and I know that I can turn something into a pretty drawing afterwards. But to get a rhythm in that arm, you know, it's more important that I get that. And let's suppose now Ariel is going to swim over this way. So if I'm going to move over this way, then of course I start to move the opposite way. It's always about anticipation. And I will try to animate as fast as I possibly can. Just to not get bogged down. And it's interesting that with Ariel's hair, like I wouldn't move her hair, I just keep it staying pretty much in the same place because it's underwater. When I first started animating her, I was always having it move too much. And then one night I came home and Sally Ride, the first female astronaut, was on TV from the space shuttle. And I watched as her hair just sat there, and wherever she moved it, it just stayed like a cloud. And I realized, oh, that's how I'm going to go ahead and animate Ariel, like weightless underwater. So now she's going to move. One of the things that Eric Larson was always talking about was come up with a nice, clear, simple arc. So I see her tilting her head down. This hair stays up where it's at. The swoop moves back. Now her arms start to cross in front of her. And I picture her now beginning to kick that fin down. So it's going to be pushing water that direction. And she's going to start to move this way. And to me, when I'm animating it, it's like I know where I'm going. I kind of have a picture in my head of this mermaid swimming over this way, but I don't want to just have her go there. I want to save that for last. It's like the ace I've got in my hand is this pose of her swimming away, and the more I can hold that back, the better it is. So she's beginning to swim over that direction, but I've actually got her, I think I'm going to have her move her torso towards me a bit. This hair would be coming up, hiding the back there really. Something about hair with all these characters. I really like characters with a lot of hair. It's very satisfying and fulfilling for me. Okay, so now she's beginning to kick her fins and her throat, which is throwing her hips up that direction, and this is coming down over there, and I'm thinking she's going to move this way. Now, in my mind, I just try to explain what's going on in my head. I'm thinking, okay, now she's going to start moving over here, and I've delivered it too soon. I mean, all I have for the audience is that the intention of, you know what she's going to do. She's going to go swimming off here. So you don't want to give that to them. You want to hold that back. And I'm looking at that thinking, I'm about to get her swimming right over there, and it's too soon. I think what I'd like to do is slow her head down a little bit. It's like her intention is to go that way. So I'm drawing her looking. Can you see what's happening there? Does that make sense? Okay. It looks so bright up there. I don't know. Wait, can you see? Okay. I wonder if I change the light on this. Okay. So now I'm going to start kicking her hips up here. Her arms are coming back this way. And basically, Ariel designed her as triangle and little teardrop shape, circle, and then this amorphic hair, and then into triangle shape with the fins, which is just kind of a pleasant design. So now she's getting ready to swim over there. And I let the hair go back into its aerial telltale shape. And that hand has been moving up like this, so I've got to let it keep following that arc. So this little whip of this hair too, it's whipping this way and it's coming up, it's moving like that. It means it's going to stay up here a little bit. It's actually going to swirl around there like that. And now, instead of her swimming out really quickly, I let her move a little bit. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to use her hips and her fins to start to set up for some big kick to send her out. As long as you can still feel the energy hasn't dissipated, and all this built up energy is really coming back into her hips and these fins. Let's see, so what's the hair going to do now? The hair is probably going to move over here, and I want to get it away from the hips so you can actually see and feel what's happening there. That arm is really going to be hidden by her hand. That's okay. Okay, so what's really nice about animation is that you can control, you have the power to control an object so that you want the audience to see it for a while. Like, I'm really doing a little magic trick here. I'm keeping her head still because I want you to see it before she heads out. now, I'm going to start to let her kick back, like this is being moved that way. Now it's going to start really pushing in a big movement right there. Boom. You can feel it just pushing against that way. Can you see that up there? Yeah. But once again, I don't want to just start moving her head that way. I think I'm just going to keep that head really still just to really pay off. It's like animation is, you're participating in the life of a character at the same time. They're living it, but you're feeling all the same dynamics. I can feel that. I just know how that should feel. The push of water being, there's, by her doing this, I know that there's got to be this energy building up, like this force is going to start to push her this direction. And I think the first thing that's going to start to move will be her hips, right? It's going to start to move that way. My pencils. Oh, here they are. Thanks. Yeah, these are different ones. Okay, so get my point flat. Actually, something doesn't feel right about that to me. It's like, you see that this form, it's built up here, her hips, and it's being kicked here. Now suddenly it's moving forward. I just don't believe that. I feel like there's a feels like this has got to resist a little bit more before it starts to move. The more I can hold that off, like, she's really got to push through water. The water resists, and she is feeling it in the small of her back now. Can you feel that? And also I gained this idea that, I mean, the audience isn't looking at any of this. They're looking right here. I'm giving them what they want to look at, which is her eyes. They want to feel what she's feeling. Peripherally, they're seeing this and they're feeling it. Okay, so I'll let her hair kind of drip down here. Get rid of this one. You know, and the thing is that when you make a mistake, like that, to me is a mistake. But it's not really a mistake. It's more of like a way of discovering what's working. for me. And Walt Stansfield always talked about, somebody asked Thomas Edison how he felt about his 2,000 failures before he invented the light bulb. He said, that wasn't 2,000 failures, that was a 2,000-step process. Okay, so now I've got this tension built up. Something's got to happen. And I feel like what I want to have happen now that this is, the tension has been up here, now it's kind of transferred down to about there. See, you feel that? It's kind of like a wave, boom, crashing, pushing down. So it feels to me like her torso has to be pushed down, right? So instead of moving this way, once again, I'm not delivering yet on this idea of her moving there. I'm moving down. I love that. Whenever I know where I'm going to go, but I don't do it in the way that anybody would expect. Now she's pushed down, but her head stays up. Her neck is beginning to stretch a little bit. And I'm not really worrying about drawing aerial correctly. This is when I animated her as well, I would just do it very loose like this. So somewhere out behind her, that tail has gone straight back. You know, maybe the fin hasn't, but she's kicking it back. Boom. Okay, so now her torso is moving. All of that energy has come down from up here to down to here. Now it's pushing down here, and we're getting this energy. It's all pushing into there, and it's got to continue moving that way, right? Which is really wonderful. And now I can feel there's something happening that I really kind of like. I'm going to hold back on the head a little bit more, but I like that the head is going to start to roll. Like we're not going to look at just profile now either. She's beginning. It feels like naturally it wants to kind of go opposite of the direction of her torso. It's being pushed down. And the longer I set this up like that, you know that it's got to at some point reverse. And that's another thing, another card in my hand that I'm thinking, okay, when do I deliver on that? And if you do it fast, it gives it an enormous amount of power. And I have a feeling that I'm going to have to pay that off pretty quick to give her some real energy. So I'm going to start to reverse that now. Somewhere out here, that tail is kicking. And she's getting a lot of energy, and it's gonna, all of that holding back is really gonna pay off. Okay, so that head is moving too fast, but the body feels right. when I go home at night after animating like this, I've got my face is covered in graphite dust. This is just like this cloud coming up there. I'm hoping that some health expert discovers that graphite's good for your health. How much do I clean up afterwards? Well, I would go back in. I mean, I'll show you a little bit of cleanup what I would do with these afterwards. But I would clean up all of this stuff, unless there was some huge deadline, and I would give it to an assistant who I felt really could capture that. Now this is just
big snap.
she's out. But I don't want her just to go completely out. I want you to feel this fin kick right at the end. Down. Hey, there she is.
Yeah!
All right, now a big trick. Let me see if I can flip this for that camera.
Oh, here we go. You can get ready to cry in like 2 seconds.
Let's see here. Put the microphone on.
Yeah! Yes!
Okay. All right, so let me see what happens here. Is the shadow completely blocking it, or can you see through it?
Yeah!
Still got a job. Good job, Glenn. Hey, all right. Hey, Mike. Thank you. Great. Mike would always come into my office, and we would do just that. We'd flip our scenes. Yeah. Let me see if I can flip that again. Man, is that really? I'll have to do it the other way. Okay. I missed some of those drawings. All right. So, there we go.
So I'm the best.
Put this there. Paper goes through here. So maybe I should just do some drawing, huh? Oh, that's right. I was going to do one of these as a cleanup. And this is the fun part. This is when I would just put music on my